Do you struggle to stay asleep and find yourself waking up the middle of the night between 2 to 3 a.m. just staring at the ceiling, not knowing what to do, why this happened? Well, if so, then this video is for you. I'll be discussing 3 stories of real life people who had something similar. The first I remember was a lady who was working nights. And so she was a nurse and her shifts would be overnight. She did this for about 20 years, and by the time she saw me, she really had a hard time getting back on track. She would try to go to sleep, when her partner, her husband would go to sleep around 9 or 10, and a couple hours later she would wake up in the middle of the night. She did live in a busy area, sort of a condo. Her bedroom was right near where the parking was, and what she found that worked for her actually was moving from her bedroom over to the living room. And another thing that really helped, and it may sound quite simple, but she had white noise to help block out some of the sounds, and also curtains, blackout curtains. Sometimes the prior history of shift work can play a role, but really in her case, it was optimizing her bedroom environment. The thing about this is after you go to sleep, about 4 or 5 hours, you've met your minimum core sleep time. So if something is gonna wake you up, whether it be noise or going to the bathroom, then it can be harder to go back to sleep. So if you can identify and really remedy that thing that's waking you up, for her, it was light and noise, she was able to stay asleep and felt so much better. The second case I want to talk about is something similar. Woman trying to go to sleep, waking up in the middle of the night, not because of cars making noise outside, but because of her bed partner snoring. So ladies, what happens as we get older, typically our partners are getting older too. Maybe when we first met them, they weren't snoring, gasping, or choking, but in our 40s and 50s, certainly and beyond, obstructive sleep apnea can be more common. And unfortunately for this lady, she had a hard time staying asleep because her husband, her bed partner, would snore, gasp, and choke. And also she was really worried about his breathing. Finally, he was able to get treated, but really what worked best for her to keep her asleep was to move to another bedroom. I know not everybody has the opportunity to sleep in another bedroom, so if you can get your partner treated for obstructive sleep apnea, that would be quite helpful. But yeah, for her, moving to a different bedroom, she knew her husband was safe because he was treated, and it was a lot quieter. And sometimes as we get older, we do tend to be lighter sleepers. We lose that estrogen, we lose that progesterone, and it can be easier for us to wake up at night. So again, if your bedroom environment isn't supportive, isn't conducive for you to stay asleep, what are the things that you can shift and change? And if you do have that extra bedroom where you can go to be comfortable, stay asleep, then it may be in your benefit. The third case I want to talk about is really interesting, and this is something that I see probably almost every day in my clinical practice, is someone coming in, maybe they snore, maybe they're not too sure, but they really have a hard time staying asleep, can't really identify why. Some of the women that I work with are already on hormone replacement therapy, so I don't really think that that's the cause. And then I have a very low threshold to order sleep apnea testing, so I have done, a sleep apnea test in this particular person. She was quite surprised when the study was significant for obstructive sleep apnea. So obstructive sleep apnea, a medical sleep condition where the muscles of the upper airway narrow and collapse. You don't have to snore to have it, you don't have to gasp or choke, but it is quite common, right? 1 in 5 adults have it. More so if you have a first-degree relative, if you're going through perimenopause, menopause, if you're over the age of 50, if your BMI is above 30, those are certain factors that may contribute. So if you do have a hard time staying asleep, I always encourage everybody out there to get tested for obstructive sleep apnea. It's quite easy to do in the comfort of your own home. All right, ladies, I hope you found this video helpful. And if you are struggling with those 2 to 3 o'clock awakenings, try to figure out what is going on. Maybe your bedroom environment, and maybe your partner, or it may be something within your own body and brain that's keeping you from sleeping well. To learn more about women's sleep health and whole living, please sign up for a newsletter. Link is below.